So it's that time of the year where Apple launches all of its new products, including the AirPods, which is something that I was quite excited for. I've been using the original AirPods Pro for a long time. I decided to pick up the new AirPods Pro 3 for 250 USD or around 329 Canadian dollars. Now you might be wondering why I am bringing up Apple and their products on a gaming tech review channel. And that is because, like one of my previous videos where I reviewed the AirPods Pro Max for gaming, I want to review the AirPods Pro 3 for gaming. As some of you might already know, I really like using earbuds when it comes to gaming, especially on my Steam Deck or my Nintendo Switch, and sometimes also on my PC. It's really easy to plug in and plug out, and most importantly, it does not get as hot as headsets. So it should be kept in mind that I will be looking at this purely from a gaming perspective. I'm not going to be looking at all of the feature sets like the activity tracking, things like that. The key features that might be important to us as gamers include the active noise cancelling and the upgraded Apple chip that should be in these earbuds. So before we get into me actually testing this out in a couple of games, I should note that I am connecting these AirPods Pro on a USB Bluetooth connector onto my PC. The one I specifically use is a TP-Link Bluetooth USB connector, and that is because I've noticed that my motherboard and most motherboards that I've used don't have a good or a strong Bluetooth signal that stays connected to my Bluetooth devices without any interference. That's exactly why all my controllers always use the 2.4 GHz dongle or are connected directly to that Bluetooth USB adapter. Once I've done a couple of gameplay tests on the PC, I will be looking at how these connect to the Steam Deck and the Nintendo Switch 2, and whether or not it is a good gameplay experience there as well. So enough talk, why don't we get into some gameplay testing with the AirPods Pro 3s. Okay, so we are here now with Arena Breakout Infinite. This is the new game, or a take on the Escape from Tarkov series. Basically, it's an extraction looter game by the people that made Delta Force. So I thought that this game will be perfect to first test out how the AirPods Pro sound, especially because this game does rely quite a bit on spatial awareness, sounds in the game, being immersed. I will say now that these are connected, I am already kind of listening to the song in the background. You might be able to hear a little bit of it. It sounds a little muffled. I might just be getting adjusted or adjusting to these earbuds. The bass sounds good, but we'll go with the flow. But I just want to kind of let you know my initial thoughts. Alright, so I'm not sure if I'm still in the tutorial mode. But look, we'll get into this and see what this is all about. I just want to make sure that in terms of sound and all, it does kind of do what it's supposed to be doing. I will say I'm kind of interested in this game because it does look pretty cool. Alright, so already I'm kind of really liking how the steps and everything sound. The world also sounds kind of serene. It's, you know, it's quiet. It's just me with my steps, with my gun in my hand. Alright, it's kind of cool that because, you know, different things have different sounds. So like stepping on wood, I can hear it. Alright, let's search this. Oh. Wow, okay. That is loud. I don't know if I'm online or not. This does feel like a game that like you do really need to kind of be on the lookout for everything around you. I'm just trying to scan like the environment, everything, just to kind of, you know, be sure. Try to see if I can pick up any like enemies or anything like that as well. So I don't know if it's like just a connection that I have or maybe the game, but I am noticing the AirPods Pro like sometimes like there's like a bit of like a pop almost. Not always. I don't know if there's any interference because obviously, as you can imagine, I have like a bunch of different tech things around me. And I am using it with the Bluetooth adapter, so it shouldn't be a problem. Honestly, it should still not be a problem even if you have a bunch of stuff around you because, you know, like I have used a bunch of other different things. And usually they don't have any interference, but let me see. Maybe, like I said, I feel like I'm just adjusting to it. The fit as well, the AirPods Pro 3, it's interesting. It took me a second to just kind of get the right fit in my ear and all that. So, you know, it could also just be I just need to kind of find the right fit on it. Oh, I think they heard me. I mean, I heard someone scream out that they heard. Oh, I hear steps. Okay, that was pretty cool. I did hear the steps. It was on my left side. Spatial audio is not bad. I hear them here, like on this side. It'll be so funny if they're behind me. Ooh, okay, there's shooting happening. Things happening. And I can hear it, which is great. Alright. Yeah, so even like the gunshot, they just sound like a little bit muffled. Like you can kind of hear the bass, like the sound itself. But like it doesn't sound perfect, you know, it sounds a little bit off. The thing is, I don't know if that is necessarily just the game itself that sounds like this, you know? Or if it's an issue with the fit that I have for my AirPods Pro. Since these are the first time I'm actually using these, I'll obviously make sure to test this on my iPhone just to kind of see how they sound on Spotify, things like that. But so far it's a little bit off, like I won't lie. The AirPods Pro Max, when I started using those in general for gaming, when I was like testing it out, definitely sounded much better. Oof. All right. We've tested it out here. Spatial audio is good. Things just sound a little bit muffled. The footsteps are good. Overall, it's not a bad experience, but it's not really giving me what I thought it would be giving me. And that's just this game, so we don't know. But why don't we move on to Marvel Rivals, something that's a little bit more action-packed, has more things going, and has really that immersive sound to it. Okay, so now we are here with Marvel Rivals. I am noticing that the headset does sound, or the earbuds do sound a lot better. I'm not sure if it was just kind of the game, or maybe I'm just kind of getting a little bit more used to it. But just kind of the background music here does sounds pretty nice. All right, so why don't we get into this? I will say that it does sound pretty loud, especially compared to my AirPods Pro, although I've been using my AirPods Pro for a while, so could also just be me having been using it for such a long time. It does obviously lose its power over time as well. It's not as good as it used to be. Yeah, it sounds like not as muffled anymore. There might be a trick. I did try something because I read something on Reddit. I'm not sure if that's actually the reason or not, but yeah, but it sounds really good now. Like the music and everything, all the stuff that's happening. All right, I'm gonna be really bad at this because I've never used Loki. Why do I have another Loki? I have no idea what this does. I'm assuming I'm healing. Where'd Spider-Man go? Oh, there. Nice, okay. Teamwork. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, Spider-Man. Let's get out of here. Oh my god, my aim. Yep, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. I'm just dropping everything. I'm so bad at this. I do like the bass. It's much better than my AirPods Pro. But see, the sound overall is really good. You're hearing everything. It's pretty immersive. Bass is really good. Really loud. Okay, so overall, way better. I did actually turn off the microphone off of these AirPods Pro on Windows in the device manager. And for some reason, it kind of like improved the audio. Usually when I would connect my AirPods Pro, it would give me two options. It would give me the stereo option and then a handset option. In this case, there wasn't an option for that. So I'm assuming maybe that's why you have to actually go into Device Manager and disable it there. So something to keep in mind. A weird step, but it's Apple. All right, so why don't we go into a just single player, or not really necessarily a single player, but just a game that is more based on or focused on campaign, the story, being immersed, and see how that feels. All right, so we're gonna jump into some Borderlands 4. Already, music sounds way better. Like I mentioned, you do need to turn off the microphone. It's not really fun if you're planning to play a game and also talk to someone, because you will get that muffled sound in that case, which is kind of weird. But again, we are trying to use AirPods Pro on a Windows PC, and that's not necessarily meant for this. This is something we're just trying because you might be someone that are buying AirPods Pro 3s for your normal use. All right, so let's jump in. Like I said, like I really like the bass. I'm really surprised by that. That was something that I did not really enjoy too much on the AirPods Pro. It's really great on the AirPods Pro Max, but just the AirPods Pro themselves, it was something I always felt was lacking. So I'm really happy to see that it is much, much better here. The fit is also not too bad. Like I was mentioning, I do need to kind of fiddle around with this a little bit because it's good, but it's not perfect. I know it comes with a couple of extra tips that you can use on the AirPods Pro 3 so that it's more up to your fitting. All right, why don't we do one of the bounties that I was trying to do a little while back? Should be close by. Yeah, already the music and everything. I really like how spatial the things sound. If that makes sense, the sound stage is really good. Active noise cancelling is automatically on. I haven't been able to figure out if I can turn it off or you know, change it on the earbuds themselves. I've been kind of fiddling around with it. Couldn't figure it out. Couldn't find anything online. I know on the iPhone themselves, you can kind of change it based on what you want. But when you're playing like this, you probably wouldn't mind having it in active noise cancelling mode. And I will say it's pretty immersive that way. Like you would probably, depending on what you need, you might want to hear things outside. And I'm sure through updates or through different modes, we can kind of figure that out as well. I'm going to keep testing it to see if there is a way for me to kind of turn that down or just turn it off completely. All right, so we're going to get this thing here. Let me switch. Oh, I got a couple of new guns. Let me try those. Yeah, this one. Nice. Oh, fire damage. Oh my god, okay. Oh, I got it. Nice. Like any weapons? No? Okay, nice. We'll equip that. Yeah, like, I mean, in terms of the gunplay and the sound, like I said, like, bass-wise, everything is great. Sound-wise as well, everything is good. Like this, and obviously I'll make a full comparison. Like this, it is more in tune with the Razer Hyperspeed or Hammerhead Hyperspeed that I've been using in the past. Although with that, I don't need to turn off the microphone or anything like that. I'm using this on, you know, a PC, and I do understand that with Apple products in general, when it comes to Windows collaboration, all that is not the best. But this is going to be a casual use case. We will check it out on the Nintendo Switch 2 and the Steam Deck to see whether or not we have issues there. Yeah, the gunplay and everything sounds really great. And I did bump the music down a little bit because it was kind of loud. Which is something that I don't really have to do with the AirPods Pro. A lot of times I do have to kind of push it up. Like I said, I've had the AirPods Pro for a while, so it does make sense. But I'm already liking the overall sound of the Pro 3. Yeah, I really like the sound because with Borderlands, each gun has kind of its unique sound and everything like that. So it does sound really good. Alright, so I think we've done a good amount of tests for the AirPods Pro 3 and how they sound in these different games. So why don't we go back, talk a little bit about my experience so far, and also do my test. Now that we had a chance to test the AirPods Pro 3 in different types of games, it was a mixed bag. As we saw in Arena Breakout, initially I had the microphone turned on, so the sound of the game was quite muffled. Obviously it would give me access to my microphone, but the sound was it just felt like I was hearing everything through a tin. But when we switched over to Marvel Rivals and also Borderlands 4, I did turn off the microphone in the Windows Device Manager settings, and that actually gave me a more proper sound stage of what you would normally expect from something like the AirPods Pro 3. Well, talking about the microphone, why don't we test that out right now? Alright, so we're back. I have my AirPods Pro 3 on, and the first thing you might notice is the sound is a little off. I did have to use a different software to actually record the sound that you're hearing right now. Normally I use this tool called Audacity, but for whatever reason, once I connected my AirPods Pro 3 to the PC, it just started freaking out. It was just not recording anything at all. It was kind of hitching. Apple products really do not like Windows for some reason. But we're here and you can kind of hear the sound. Obviously it'll be kind of loud. The overall sound quality is as you would expect because these are designed to be able to take phone calls, Zoom meetings, team meetings, things like that. So if you're on Discord and you're wanting to play with your friends and listen to them and talk to them, this is a pretty good way to talk to them. However, like I mentioned, if you're playing a game, you will kind of hear everything as being a little bit muffled. So it's a bit of a trade-off if you do want to use a microphone and talk to someone whilst also playing a game. I won't lie, I was hoping for the mic quality to be a little bit better, and it could totally be just how Windows and Apple products kind of mix. It's just not a good mix. But we are looking at how this impacts or how this can be used for gaming, especially on the PC. I will test this on my Nintendo Switch 2 and also on the Steam Deck. But overall, unless you're using your iPhone to play with someone and talk to them there through Discord, and then have your audio playing on a speaker when you're playing on your PC, this is what you will get. And again, you probably wouldn't want to do that because the idea is for you to be able to use this on your PC or on your gaming device to be able to play the game, hear people, talk to them, and immerse yourself if possible. And talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 and the Steam Deck, why don't we kind of cross over, get the mic back on, and talk about my experience using on those handhelds. So talking about handhelds, I myself have the Steam Deck. Let me grab that here. I have my Steam Deck over here, and I also have the Nintendo Switch 2. So these are what I tested the AirPods Pro 3 on in terms of my gameplay experience. When it comes to the Steam Deck, connecting the Bluetooth was quite seamless. It was a lot easier than my experience when I was trying to connect the AirPods Pro, the original ones, and also the AirPods Pro Max. I'm not sure if it was like a Steam Deck firmware or something on the Apple side, but I was really happy that I was able to connect it pretty quickly. In terms of gameplay, I tested this out on a game that I think is now known for its music and the background, the immersion, and that's Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I started replaying that game on my Steam Deck and I thought, hey, why don't I test out the AirPods Pro 3 for this game? Really good sounding music, immersion, the gameplay, everything came off really well. I will note that initially for a little bit, I did notice a bit of a delay. So when I would go into the menu and I would just kind of be going up and down, change the graphics setting, things like that. And I would like press the select or enter to make a selection or move to a next menu. You get like a little bit of like a chime or like a bit of a sound to let you know you move to the next menu. That was a little bit delayed. I noticed this initially, but then as I was playing the game, it kind of went away. I didn't really notice it in the dialogue, things like that. So something to note, I did test this out in another game and in Batman Arkham Knight, and I didn't really notice it there. So just something to keep in mind. It might just be something with the Bluetooth connection kind of getting a good grip of the AirPods Pro 3. I don't know. I'm not very technical. I'm not sure why that might be. But if you're experiencing that, maybe just try waiting it out and see if it improves over time. But I won't lie, this is going to be my preferred way of playing the Steam Deck is with those AirPods Pro 3 because they are comfortable. They do sound really great. And for me, the main thing is the bass. The bass is very surprising in this AirPods Pro 3. They really do come close to the AirPods Pro Max in terms of the booming bass that you will get. Of course, I'm sure in terms of the overall soundscape, it might not be as perfect, but of course, it's considerably cheaper than the AirPods Pro Max. And then of course, looking at the Nintendo Switch 2, same thing here, connecting it to the Nintendo Switch 2 was seamless, very quick, really surprised how quick it was. And when I jumped into Donkey Kong, same thing there, the music, everything sounded great. I didn't notice any delays or anything like that. I went into the menu, went up and down, things like that. No delays there. Even when I was playing, it's Donkey Kong, just moving around the world, punching things. Same thing there. Everything sounded crisp, clear, how it should be without any issues. Same thing with this. Honestly, it's a really great way to play the handheld devices because AirPods Pro 3 is something that you might be carrying with you either way when you're on a walk or with your phone, things like that. And if you're carrying your handheld device with you as well, you don't need a separate pair of Bluetooth headphones meant for gaming, anything like that. You can just use your AirPods Pro 3. Now, other than the original AirPods Pro, I myself have the Razer Hyperspeed Hammerhead Bluetooth /2.4 GHz PlayStation Edition that I've been using with my PlayStation and also with my PC from time to time. Razer, of course, is known to make its game-focused devices or peripherals. So you can, obviously this is more accustomed or more in tune with what a gamer might want. It's got RGB, things like that. And more importantly, it comes with a 2.4 gigahertz dongle that you can connect into your PlayStation or your PC. And so it gives a much better connection if you're using the dongle instead of Bluetooth. What this also means is that the Razer Hammerhead also allows you to be able to use a microphone and listen in without any issue, without you having to disable the microphone, anything like that. Again, this is meant for gaming, so of course it will be designed that way. Plus, it's Razer. Razer products are really well in tune with Windows and things like that. Now, when it comes to the sound itself, I will say that the AirPods Pro 3 sound overall is more of something that I feel like people will like in terms of the immersion. It's got really good bass, but the Razer, you can tell, is designed to kind of give you that gamer type music. So it's very booming bass. You will obviously hear everything in terms of, if you're playing Counter-Strike or Rainbow Six Siege, you'll hear the footsteps, hear the gunshots, things like that. You can play competitive with this, but it's designed to kind of give you those booming explosions, to kind of make you feel like things are going crazy, make you just say wow in the moment. Doesn't mean that the AirPods Pro 3 don't make you wow or anything like that, but like I said, these are more designed for games and putting games in mind. The AirPods Pro 3, you can tell, is more in tune with listening to music and then being able to play with games if you want to play games with this. When it comes to music, the AirPods Pro 3 are definitely much better than the Razer Hammerhead Hyperspeed, just because the Razer, when you're listening to music with the Razer earbuds, the bass sounds great, but everything else seems a little bit flat or just not as impressive, I guess. Whereas the AirPods Pro 3, even though the bass is significantly better than the original AirPods Pro, you basically get like a bigger soundstage with the AirPods Pro 3. You can tell that this is more designed for people that want to listen to music. Of course, this AirPods Pro 3 designed for you to be able to listen to Spotify, Apple Music on the go. So music-wise, definitely the AirPods Pro 3 will be way better. But again, for gaming side, it depends on what you want. If you want that booming sound, you want explosions and things like that to make you sound like you're basically there, then the Razer or some of these more gaming specific earbuds might be a bit better. But if you have AirPods Pro 3 and you're using it for something else and you want to use it for gaming, this is not a bad option. Like I mentioned, the main issue is that the AirPods Pro 3, you need to turn off the microphone if you really want to be able to hear the sound as you would want it to hear, as it should sound, especially on a pair of AirPods Pros. But if you're someone that wants to be able to speak to someone whilst being able to listen to the game as clear as possible, then the Razer earbuds or even any of the other gaming earbuds that are out in the market right now would be a much better option. Now, talking about other earbuds, there are a number of other cool earbuds out in the market. Since I reviewed the Razer Hammerhead, we've had earbuds made by PlayStation themselves, by SteelSeries. SteelSeries earbuds are regarded as being the top of the line at the moment. And even though I myself haven't had a chance, Hi, I'm Hank. Thank you for joining us today at our Apple event. We have redefined everything. Made things thinner, lighter, more powerful, and yes, more pricier. And I'm excited to introduce you to our flagship product, the Apple. Yes, just like Metallica and their self-titled album, we are releasing our own self-titled album, which is the Apple. We have used revolutionary aluminum sourced from the tears of our engineers to create this impeccable Apple. As you can tell, the color, this is our off-red color scheme. This is the only color available at launch. And we've courageously removed another feature. We've removed the stem that you typically see at the top, removed it, gone, just for your own good. Also added AI. Here's a live demo. Apple, be an Apple. And of course, for the price, it is available at just $299. You can of course go to your local stores, pay monthly, finance it, whatever you need to do, because at the end of the day, you know you need to buy this, because how else will your friends know that you're better than them? Hank, what are you doing? I thought we were doing like an Apple event thing. You never talk about Apple, so we're talking about the AirPods on a gaming tech show. No, we're actually reviewing the AirPods Pro 3 for gaming. Oh, you're actually criticizing. Oh, let me pull up a chair. Oh, I'm just gonna stand here. Let's get into it then. So the AirPods Pro 3 is $250. You're telling me that is a viable price for something like the AirPods Pro 3 to be able to game. When it comes to price, especially with Apple products, you are paying that Apple tax. If you are an Apple product owner, you know what I'm talking about. The key reason many people get Apple products in general is because of that ecosystem and how seamless they integrate with each other. But when comparing the AirPods Pro 3 to other earbuds specifically designed to gaming, like the SteelSeries Arctis Buds and also the Sony PlayStation's Pulse Explorer, this is quite expensive. Both of those earbuds retail for around $199 USD, and a lot of times I've seen them go on sale up to $159 USD as well. And you also have the option to get ones that are compatible with your system, like a PlayStation or an Xbox, so you're not fully restricted to using it on the Windows or handheld devices. Let's back up a little bit. You were telling us that there is an extremely huge issue when it comes to connecting the AirPods Pro 3 to the Windows. You can't have the mic on and have good audio? What? Am I taking crazy pills? That itself should disqualify this from being a good pair of gaming earbuds. Yeah, the Bluetooth mic issue was really weird. I'm really surprised that that is something that is an issue with this, especially with this being the third iteration of the AirPods Pro. And if you're not someone that scrolls through Reddit like I do to figure this out, you might not even know that you could turn the mic off to be able to make this sound a lot better. You might just think this sounds horrible and you might send it back because of that. That is definitely a big negative when it comes to this being a gaming set of earbuds. You want these earbuds to be able to listen to the game, to the environment, to the footsteps, things like that, but also be able to communicate with your teammates or players that you're playing with. But if you're someone that solely wants to play games single player and don't really play online, you could still make do with this. All right. Now, what about the battery life? I'm a gamer. I like putting my earbuds on or headphones on, and I want to be immersed for a long time, for weeks, months, whatever, years. How does this do in terms of battery life? So when it comes to battery life, if you are using the ANC or the active noise cancelling on these earbuds, it is supposed to last around 8 hours, which is quite impressive. That's quite similar to what I believe the SteelSeries Arctis Buds also does with its noise cancelling. And I've been testing this out for quite a bit. So far, I have not had a pop-up or anything like that on my iPhone that I need to charge it, anything like that. But that's something to keep in mind. 8 hours is not bad with noise cancelling. So if you turn that off, in many cases, if you are playing on Windows, it will be turned off. You can probably extend that life quite a bit. One thing to note is that the noise cancelling is dependent on what you selected on your iPhone before you connected it to Windows. So if you connect this to your iPhone and you've turned ANC on, then when you connect it to Windows, ANC will be on. And similarly, if you turn off on your iPhone when you had connected it to your iPhone and then connected to Windows, it will also be off here. There's no specific way that you can turn it on or off on the earbuds themselves. At least I haven't figured that out yet, which is again a bit of a negative. But in terms of battery life, it's not too bad. Thank you, folks. That's all that we have for today. I hope you enjoyed our launch of the Apple, and we hope to see you next year. We know you'll be there. Thank you. Goodbye. Happy Easter. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Our engineers hate us. You know you'll buy this. You know you want it. So overall, the AirPods Pro 3 is a hit or miss when it comes to gaming. If you're someone that plans to pick this up for your iPhone or for your Apple products either way, and you don't have a gaming headphone or earbuds, this is not a bad replacement. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of caveats, there's a lot of things that you gotta keep in mind, especially when you wanna play online and have the mic turned on, especially for Windows. For handhelds, I think this is great. I think it does a really great job, especially when I compare it to my other earbuds like the Razer Hammerhead. But at $250, it really has to kind of fit a lot of those molds for you. It needs to be something where, hey, this is something you wanted to buy either way and you'll use it for gaming, as opposed to you need to buy this for gaming. If you're solely looking for earbuds for gaming, I would honestly recommend the Razer Hammerhead Hyperspeed that I have, or something like the SteelSeries Arctis Buds or the Pulse Explorer. Something that's designed for gaming and it's meant to be played for games. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you stuck around this long, please think about liking and subscribing to the channel. It really helps a lot, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you. Bye.